Now, a few weeks ago, NewsNation broke the story on the UFO whistleblower. You remember that? High-level government official, Dave Grusch, right? Claiming that the government retrieved several non-human spacecraft, had alien bodies inside of them, and that they're keeping the information from the public. Look, I don't know about the first part, but I know he's right about the second part. They have information about what's been flying around that they haven't told you, and they should explain why. Here's part of the interview.
You are saying to the human race, for the first time, an official intelligence representative at a high level from the US government is saying publicly, we are not alone.
We're definitely not alone. Absolutely, the data points empirically that we're not alone, yeah.
Look, I'm open to whether or not we're alone. What I know for sure is that we're alone in being denied the information that our government has. Now, next week, Grusch and others are going to testify before Congress on what they believe the government knows and is trying to cover up. But there are a lot of skeptics that these hearings are a retread. We already heard from these people, and that they're not getting anybody who has the information that they won't give us. Let's bring in investigative journalist and the co-host of the podcast Weaponized, Jeremy Corbell. He released the military's UFO videos leading to this hearing. It's good to have you.
Thanks for having me on.
So, level of optimism?
You know, it's very high. These are historic hearings. We have never had this in the congressional setting, direct eyewitnesses, people that can be asked the right questions under that setting. I helped set them up. I helped find and connect those people. This is a really important time in the history of us looking at whatever UFOs or UAP are.
What do you expect to come out of this hearing from sources that we've heard from already?
Look, you can expect to hear from people that are credible, that not only saw these things with their eyes, but also there's other sensor platforms that pick these up. If the right questions are asked, we're going to learn a lot. But that takes Congress. It takes everybody on that panel to ask the right questions so that they can be answered.
You're helping the committee with the questions?
All I know is there's going to be some good questions, and I'm pretty sure that we're going to learn things that we didn't know yesterday.
Look at you. We're doing all this for transparency. I ask you if you've been helping them with the questions, and you don't just say yes.
I think a lot of people are helping with the questions. I think a lot of people are throwing out ideas because, look, we're in new territory. We know UFOs are real, but the question is, whose are they? Who builds them? What's the intent? We can no longer keep our head in the sand. Look, Chris, let me be honest with you, man. Here's the deal. This is about strategic surprise. Let's take the UFO out of it. We need to have a 360 understanding of what's around us at all times, or we're at a disadvantage. We don't want another Pearl Harbor. So this is basically us saying, they're there, they're on our sensors, we see them, and these are the people that have chased them. Commander David Fravor engaged a UFO for the United States military. I'm excited to see what he has to say.
Yeah, it's interesting to me how easily this is misunderstood and trivialized. You know, I was reading and then wound up taking a listen to Rogan. If Rogan has any virtues, one of them would certainly be that he brings on people who are open to things that may not be getting as much attention. And it was interesting how he was like, yeah, I don't know what NewsNation is, but they're really into this UFO thing. Like, you know, I was waiting to learn that the moon is made of cheese. He seems to be like a lot of people where it's not about little green men. It's about what you're doing to know what's happening and what you're learning that you have decided in the U.S. government is too important for the rest of us to understand. That's my problem. That's my expectation. Do you think we get closer to an understanding?
Yeah, look, my curiosity was weaponized a long time ago. I couldn't be, a bypasser. I couldn't just watch this. I had to become an active participant. So I think that Joe Rogan's one of the most curious people on planet Earth. You know, maybe he's an alien, but that's what's so cool about having open dialogue. But again, let's bring it back to the facts. There are machines of unknown origin that fly with impunity in our restricted airspace. They put pilots at danger. They can outperform, outmaneuver everything that we have. We know they're not China. We know they're not Russia. We know they're not ours. So the question is, whose are they? How are they made? Who's piloting them? And what's the intent?
I love all the questions. I really do. And I think the American people deserve the answers, or at a minimum, to be told by somebody who has access to the information why security interests dictate otherwise. Hey, thank you for watching. Please go to newsnationnow.com, newsnationnow.com, and you can find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button down below. Then you will get more of News Nation's fact-driven coverage.